We're going to continue the talk about why the phoenix is a mythological creature. You know, last time we spoke about how the phoenix, this magnificent bird of magic and fire, of rebirth, gets to the end of its life or is injured or whatever and explodes into a giant ball of flame. And there in the embers and the ashes, there's the new phoenix that carries with it the memories and knowledge and learning from the past, but is ready to start a whole new life from basically day one. And how this phoenix can then live out a new life, creating a new place for itself until it's time for another rebirth. And how it's a good thing that the phoenix could not physically exist in the world, because we would force it to be mythological anyway. The world, society, the people closest to the phoenix would refuse to allow it to be reborn. From negative talk to negative actions to reminding it of its past, sometimes intentionally, sometimes not intentional. We do not allow people to grow beyond where they are sometimes. Well, as much trouble as that is for the phoenix, there's actually another force at play in preventing the phoenix from actually existing. It's something that's a lot stronger and it's a whole lot harder to overcome than the outside world, and that is inside the phoenix itself. It is within the head of the phoenix. See, that phoenix still carries with it all of the past, all of the scars, all of the failures, and all of the successes that it's had. Every voice, everything that has ever happened to it is still a part of the bird. So when the phoenix is faced with this rebirth, it carries with it, for good or for bad, all of these memories. And the worst memories create negative energy within it. It's the little voice in the bird's head that says, oh no, you can't do that. You'll just fail. You really can't succeed, or you've done as well as you can. This is good enough. You know, good enough is a horrible phrase when you think about it. So all of these things become this big pile of negative energy. Well, the worst ones, the worst injuries, the worst voices tend to get buried. You try to push those down. The poor bird doesn't want to relive them every day. But it's kind of like a graveyard, you know. Even if the bodies are buried, even if you can't see the caskets, you still see the graveyard there. It still impacts the area. So all of this negativity taints the poor phoenix, and it becomes hard for that bird to overcome it. Well, so the bird gets up enough positive energy, enough desire, enough willpower to overcome these negative voices, and then here's the world piling it on. They feed each other. The world says, no, no, you can't do that. No, you're crazy. No, don't you remember when? And then those voices inside the phoenix say, yeah, man, don't you know how many times you failed? Don't you know this is as good as you can do? You know, discretion is the better part of valor. Don't worry about it. You're safe. Without considering the future, the possibilities, you know, you can be so much more than you are now, but it's better to stay where you are because this is as good as you can do. Well, these negative emotions, these negative voices, they come from a lot of different places. Sometimes they're unintentional and really weren't meant to be malicious or harmful. You know, parents accidentally plant these negative thoughts in their children. In the way we talk to our children, the way we teach them, the things we make them do. A great example of this are kids who are forced to participate in sports or music and they're no good at it. And it would be different if they weren't competitive or if the parents weren't trying to push them. But you see it all the time. The kid is miserable playing, the kid is not having fun, and the kid is doing poorly. Why do the parents keep pushing them to play? Now, I don't advocate quitting. If you start, you finish the season. Your teammates have a promise from you that says, I will be there with you till the end. But you need to take a look at it. Are you forcing your child to learn to fail? Are you forcing your child to accept the fact that they are no good at something? Or are you encouraging your child to learn and grow and develop? Sometimes it's not intentional, but it's something that just kind of happens along the way. Or, it's just, well, they've just kind of learned they're no good at something. And that's just the way it is. And we kind of reinforce it too. I know you're not good at math, but I know you're having trouble with this, but, and that doesn't help the child either. Instead, we should say, look, you are struggling right now, but we can get through this. You can learn how to do this. You can keep trying how to succeed. It's not about how many times you fail, it's about how many times you get up. And no failure is ever permanent, except for once you die. Until that point, you can keep trying over and over again. A classic example is Babe Ruth hits over 700 home runs, and he strikes out as many times as he hits a home run. Reggie Jackson one time said that if you go by his number of strikeouts, he could have gone to bat without a bat for 3 seasons and had the same record. It's not about the failure, it's about the success. And you got to take a deep cut at the ball to hit the home run, and sometimes you connect and sometimes you don't. Now, some of these other negative voices are created by society, and these are the ones that are the hardest to overcome. Society in the way it treats minorities. Society in the way that it creates gender roles for people. For a long time, females were told you cannot be a good doctor. You aren't designed to be a good doctor. Or males were told you can't be a good elementary school teacher or nurse. Those are jobs for women. And you end up with these situations where these negative voices are still in there. Sometimes the negative voices are created by teachers, believe it or not. A very common problem, teachers who are bad at or hate math and science tend to impart those feelings to their classes, especially if it's a female teacher with female students. Oh, I'm just no good at math. Oh, I don't like math either. It's a little off comment that the kid picks up on, and they decide they hate the subjects as well. Of course, there's always the negative images, negative energy created from abuse, from belittling, from telling someone they are no good, bullies, any number of causes. But all that stuff piles up inside the head of that phoenix. Every single bit of it tries to push down. And like I said before, it feeds off of the negative from the world. And then when the world sees the bird hesitate, it jumps even harder on it. See, you're right, back away from that flame. You can't be reborn, you cannot change. Yeah, I can't change. I know that I can't change. After all, this is as good as this can be. After all, I'm just a phoenix. There's no reason for me to try to be anything else. Now, next time, we're going to talk about how to help that bird from the outside. If you enjoyed this portion of the talk, if you like my blog, please subscribe to the videos here on my YouTube channel. Please contact me if I can be of any help to you or your organization at ralph@ralphharbison.com. Till next time,